So the way we build these add-ons, it's not as versatile in terms of how it's going to display to the customer. It's always going to be an image if we load an image, or no image if we don't load an image, but it has a spot for an image. So it's always got the ability to show an image of what's being added. We can give it a name and a description. It can keep track of quantity if we want, and then we can give it a price that it should add to the order. So the nice thing is, if we do want to lean on the system to keep track of something like our syrup jars, like we're looking at here, then we might build the options for our syrups this way so that we're able to keep track, and then the system would let us know when we're getting low and we need to order more. So if inventory tracking for an option is important, add-on would be the way to go. And we can set that to non-inventory, so it doesn't have to track inventory if we don't want it to. Although if we weren't going to build it to track inventory, I would probably say we would build it using the other system. I think this is the main strong suit of the add-on system, is the fact that it keeps track of a quantity count. These are not an item in our inventory, so this is not sort of calculated with the same calculator that our main list of inventory is calculated from. But for something like this that we order from an external service, our flavors and things, we might want it to keep track of quantity, and that would be add-ons. Now, options I find much more versatile. We can do a lot of cool things with options. So here's that wet-dry one we were looking at. We can give it a label. We can give it a description. Both will show on the front side if we would like to. So it would say, are we using it wet or dry, if that's what our label is. We might explain ourselves a little bit, especially if we're asking for that extra money. Hey, water is a bit more rugged and adds to the wear and tear on our vinyl. We've just got to charge a little bit extra for the upkeep and maintenance of units that are getting wet, so on and so forth. So we can add a description if it's useful. For things like flavor selectors, we would add a description about what flavors we offer, how many servings come with each of the selections, so on and so forth, to help the customer understand the options that they're choosing from. When we build these, we've got a selector here for what kind of display it should give to the customer. It can just be some text if we just want to add text into the option section. If we want a drop-down selector with a list of options, we can do a drop-down, a radio. We can do a checkbox if we want a check system to check which one you want. For things like linens, tablecloths and such, we could have a color swatch selection system where we would select between colors to indicate what color we would want. Or we can do images if we would like a series of images, thumbnail images that represent what we're looking at. We can build as many options as we want in these option selectors. So wet and dry is pretty cut and dry. It only needs to be wet and dry. But for things like banner selectors, we can build to our heart's content how many banners we want to have on offer. Give them price bumps as necessary. Go on and go forth. If it should be required for something, wet and dry, again, we may want an answer. Are you using it wet and dry? So we would put yes to required, and they will not be able to add that item to their cart until they select either wet or dry. But even for things like our banners or our flavor options, again, we might want those required so that folks don't just add a cotton candy or a snow cone machine to the cart and we don't have any idea what flavor they want. Now we've got to call them after the fact and figure out what flavor they want. We've got to go edit the order and tell the order what flavor they want. So we can set that to required to make sure the customer makes their decision and we know what flavor that we should be bringing over. Can also have the price add either once for the order or once for the quantity if we're offering, the ability to select multiples of them. And down here we can control whether they're allowed to select more than one. Again, depending on the use case of the options we're building, they may be able to select more than one. And if that's useful, we can say yes. And then we can actually tell it how many of the options they're allowed to select. So we can look at a more complicated one to kind of paint how that works. We might look at our flavors here. So we've got our flavors built out. This is the one that was built in that drop down that we saw on the flavor selector when we added the snow cone to our order there. I have it set to required, so you can't check that snow cone machine out without selecting your flavor. It's going to charge once per order because you're only allowed to select one. But if we wanted to allow them to select more than one, we certainly could. We can look at that modular bounce house system that we built. This one uses the image system. So you can see here when we build out the options, the first thing we load is the thumbnail image that the system's going to show. We give the option a name, whether it's no banner, just multicolor theme, or it's the theme of the banner that we're adding. We can add the price that we're adding for choosing that theme. In this case, I didn't set it as required. If someone wants to check out with the base unit, they're allowed. Obviously, they can just get the multicolor bouncer if that's how it's going to work for their event. And if they were adding the main unit to the cart and not selecting any of these options, it would show up in our order as just the multicolor option. But of course, if they want a theme, they can pick one. It wouldn't be useful for banners, because only one typically fits on a unit at a time. But if we wanted to jerry-rig our own banners on all four sides, we could say, sure, pick a different theme for each side, so on and so forth. We absolutely could. And same thing, we can set the order to per order or per quantity picked if that is useful for our option selection that we're building. The main nice thing about this system is, like I say, we build these options once and they're useful for as many items that they're useful for. A lot of my customers have the same flavor selections available for their snow cones as well as their, I totally forgot what things there are. Well, whatever, anything with flavors, right? They may have corresponding flavors, so the same selection may exist on multiple concessions. Same thing with the banner options. Several of our customers use almost exclusively modular bounce houses, and therefore they have banners that work on several styles of bounce house, several styles of combo bouncer. Even up into the larger units, there are water slides that accept banners. There are obstacle courses that accept banners. So assuming you have many different units that offer banners and they all offer the same banners, you can build out the options and apply it to all the units. Build it once, apply it as many times as it's useful. The last one here for our inventory management is packages. System does have a package builder, so we can filter by looking for the name of our package if we want to filter this list. And we can add a new package. We can say party package 1. It will write a slug for us again automatically. If we'd like to edit our slug, it is exposed. If we would like to add a picture that's representative of our package, we can. If we have a description we would like to write, we can write a description, and that will show up on the package page, and then we can start building our package. Super simple. It's similar to how we built out those related products. We get to select from a category. We can add all inventory from that category that we think would work well for this package. We can add quantities of things. So, for instance, again, 1 chair and 1 table would never make sense. We'd want 6 or 8 chairs to go out with the table so that everybody can sit, or at least a handful of people can sit. And once we're satisfied with the product lineup for our category, we can make price adjustments if we want. We can add discounts by the line item if we would like to discount a specific amount per line item. We can just take an overall discount off of the most expensive line item if we like, and it will calculate that way also. I always like to point out that the discount our package offers is that we took the time to put the package together for you. So don't feel like just because you got a package, it should be cheaper than the sum total of the items within. Again, the savings is you save them the time of needing to shop around the store looking for all these things, and you've put together what you should or could more or less consider the perfect party, whether it be a birthday party you're building or a larger event. We might have 47 tables in here. We might have 132 chairs, whatever it is, and so on and so forth. And again, the discount is our expertise in knowing how to put together a package that will service a party. So if we're building packages, I would say pick a theme: birthday party, quinceañera, graduation, so on and so forth, and build a package that is perfect for that party. And that's your expertise, serving your customer, giving them a one-click solution for everything that they might want for a specific type of party. It's a great way to do it.